Can't get enough of the show? Get your fix at thesocial.ca. Log on for exclusive content, get to know the hosts, and see what digital correspondent Jess Allen has up her sleeve.
Visit the Jess Files for articles, extended interviews, and so much more.
Keep the conversation going at thesocial.ca.
Welcome back. Many people believe that kids are too entitled these days, and our next guest says it's up to the parents to do something about it.
So here to tell us more are the authors of Gratitude and Kindness, a modern parent's guide to raising children in an era of entitlement. Psychologists Lisa Ferrari and Carla Fry are here. Welcome.
We are very excited about this segment. There are a lot of parents out there who don't exactly know what their entitled children look like. I'm sure you and I could spot other people's entitled children. So what does an entitled child look like?
It's actually a good question. An entitled child is essentially not happy. They can't take no for an answer. They freak out. They can't cope, right?
Yeah.
So
that sounds like just kids, right?
Well,
sometimes,
absolutely,
not all the time,
absolutely. But you know what the difference is between just a kid who's grumpy or uncomfortable when he or she hears the word no, they expect.
Okay.
So the expectation and the level of appalled when they don't get what they want, it's different. There's a quality that's different about it.
Okay, so you're suggesting that parents are largely responsible for creating these little entitled children. We're all trying to do our best, but what does that mean?
Well-intentioned parents,
Okay.
right? They don't always know that their behavior is actually encouraging entitlement, right? So it's more of an entitlement encouraging system. It's the parent-child interaction. Sometimes parents just want to overcompensate. Something's happened in the family, like a divorce, for example, and they want to make sure that their kid's okay, right? So things that they would normally do, they kind of bend the rules on because they think, maybe right now it's a little bit of a vulnerable time.
They don't want them to feel uncomfortable. They don't want them to feel unhappy. So they overdo and deliver the happiness right there on a tray.
And also maybe trying to make their kids' lives easy, which is not always teaching the best lessons.
So if you think about it, kids that are super involved in sports are getting A's in school, their parents want to make their lives easier. They'll kind of slack off a little bit on having certain expectations at home
Sure, maybe the
to make
chores
things easier.
The chores don't have to be done
Right.
because you're doing all of these things.
Right, so you kind of overcompensate, right, to make their lives easier.
And that's when the checks and balances aren't in place, right? If a child has just had a spaz or a really difficult time over a no or not being able to go where they want to go, but 15 minutes later, you're not really thinking about it and it hasn't been fixed, there's been no reparation, and you go ahead and give them a cookie or a special favor, the kids put that together. We might not. We might miss it, right? It's very important.
And they have memories like elephants.
Oh,
yeah.
They do remember that.
Completely.
Okay, like we all are. I'm trying to raise my kids to be kind and to be empathetic. So I mean, it sounds cliche, but if there's a situation on the news of children less fortunate than them, I'm like, see, you have to understand and appreciate what you have. Not everybody has what you have. Is that, I know you're kind of looking at me. I'm trying to foster gratitude and being thankful.
Well, right, and I think that's great, and we have a lot of parents that do that. We hear a lot more of that since we've written the book, because parents think, wow, this is really timely, we love the topic. I always tell my kid, they're so lucky and they should be thankful. But it has this element of, around more materialistic sorts of things, like an abundance of things. And that's not really what we're going after. It's more of a way of being.
Almost being like condescending, like toward people in different situations?
Or maybe even elevating your child to even think that they're better.
And sometimes there can be guilt involved in that. Kids don't know what to do when you point out necessarily that child doesn't have what you have. They're just like, oh, do I feel rotten about what I do have, right? So the focus, we really highlight on helping kids to appreciate the little things that they have, but it's not just about things.
So how do we change that conversation?
Right.
Yeah, so the conversation is changed to, let's focus on what we have, the love that we have, because it's not just about the stuff, right? It's about the advantages, it's about the experiences. Going to the park, just like sucking up the experience of the wind going through your hair on the swing, that's important. Those are the little tiny details that it's different, right?
It's not about the stuff.
It's not about the stuff necessarily.
Okay, so a big one, this is going to be a tough one for parents to swallow, is you say in your book, you must realize that your child is not so special after all. So, this could be controversial. Could be controversial.
Oh, yeah.
What is wrong with a parent who says, Johnny, you are so special, there's no one else like you? What's wrong with that?
Well, everything, there needs to be balance with everything. Too much of one thing and overdoing it starts to lose meaning over time, right? So it's not to say that we can't celebrate our kids. We want to encourage parents to do that, but in a very thoughtful kind of way. We don't want to breed entitled and narcissistic adults by overvaluing everything that they do. We want to actually encourage parents to be warm and appreciative with their kids and ask them what the experience was like, rather than saying, you're going to be the next Picasso.
Or how about the next female Prime Minister of Canada?
What
or President of the United States?
Right. What was it like to draw the painting? What was your process?
We're listening. We are listening. We really are.
And I saw your face out there on the soccer field. You looked so determined. You were killing it out there. I'm so proud of you, right?
Okay, so part of parenting is really figuring out how you're going to handle issues, which is what I'm just starting with right now. Marquesa's almost 17 months, and I've just learned that my angelic daughter can turn into the devil.
No,
She just started with this, if I may. All of a sudden, one day she woke up, and now it's... And I
would be like, she's so cute. And I shouldn't say that. And I shouldn't say that, right? No.
So you say, though, that tantrums aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Tantrums can be an indication to parents that what they're doing is actually working.
Oh, okay.
Because what you're doing is you're setting a limit. You're trying to correct behavior.
Okay.
Well, then I'm good.
Right.
What we don't want you to do is to freak out, and we don't want you to go, okay, whatever you want. 17 cookies? Yeah, good, right?
Okay.
Right, stay the course, make the plan, and follow through. So behavioral science tells us that when we change the pathway, our kids are gonna up the ante and do what they expect us to do, which is to break or change. So we have to outlast them.
Yes.
Stay the course.
And stay calm.
Right, and so they can see the gaps, right, and the cracks, right? When
really
you're on
can.
the
Yeah,
phone,
they can.
or when you're on the phone,
It's so
are you
true.
ready to set that
around
limit?
me
Because
like bees.
right,
Yep.
right. It's harder to set the limit when you're on the phone, but you might have to put the phone down so that you can be consistent, right? So that they're not scoping out a situation where they know that you're at your sort of vulnerable moment.
Okay. Thank you so much both for being here. Such great food for thought. And so much to learn. The book is a great read, and it's on shelves now. Everyone in our studio audience can start reading it tonight because you're all going home with your very own. And we'll be right back. So that's really good.
Up next, the hosts square off in our social media challenge. Play along and tweet us your score.